Have you ever found yourself in the stillness of the night, pondering what really happens when the curtain of life closes? A subtle unease, a question that echoes in the depths of the soul, whispering about the possibility of something more beyond the veil we call death. Don't feel alone in this quest, in this curiosity inherent in the human condition. It is a longing that has accompanied our journey since the dawn of consciousness, a search for answers in a universe that at times seems to keep its secrets under lock and key. Death, a topic so present and at the same time so avoided in our daily conversations. Modern society, with its obsession with youth and longevity, seems to have built a barrier to avoid facing this inevitable reality head-on. But what if, for a moment, we dared to challenge this perspective? What if death were not the end, the ultimate goodbye, but rather a transition, a portal to a new dimension of existence? An idea that for many may sound like fantasy, like mere consolation in the face of loss, but that for others represents hope, a belief rooted in personal experiences and in accounts that defy logic and science. We are not here to offer definitive answers, to dictate absolute truths. The journey we propose is much more an invitation to reflection, to a deep exploration of the boundaries between the known and the unknown. Let's dive into an ocean of mysteries, where science and spirituality meet, where quantum physics and ancestral teachings complement each other. Let's analyze accounts of near-death experiences that challenge our understanding of reality, glimpses of other dimensions that arise in moments of great commotion, enigmatic messages that arrive from beyond through dreams, intuitions, and synchronicities. Prepare to question your own convictions, to expand your consciousness, and to connect with higher energies. Together, let's unravel the secrets of the universe, demystify death, and discover how life after death can influence your spiritual journey in the present. This is not about denying the pain of loss, about minimizing grief, but rather about finding a new meaning for life, about recognizing the beauty and complexity of existence in all its dimensions. This is not a journey for the die-hard skeptics, nor for those seeking irrefutable proof. It is a journey for the curious, for those who dare to question, for those who are open to new perspectives, and for those who believe that the universe is much bigger than we can imagine. It is a journey for those who, even in the face of uncertainty, choose hope, faith, and love as guides. If you identify with this quest, if you feel the flame of curiosity burning within you, then prepare to embark on an adventure that could transform your life forever. An adventure that will lead you to question the boundaries between life and death, to recognize your own immortality, and to find the inner peace you so long for. Now, delving a little deeper into this intricate labyrinth of existence, let us confront the question of why. Why this insatiable curiosity about life after death? Why this longing to unravel the mysteries that lie beyond our sensory perception? The answer, I believe, lies in our own nature, in our incessant search for meaning and purpose. We are intrinsically spiritual beings, even if our modern society tries to convince us otherwise. We carry within us a divine spark, an innate connection with something greater, something that transcends our physical existence. This search for meaning, this thirst for transcendence, often manifests as a fear of death, a fear of the unknown. We fear what we do not understand, what escapes our control. But what if instead of fearing death, we faced it as an opportunity for growth, as a door to a new phase of our journey? And what if, instead of lamenting the loss, we celebrated the lives of those who have departed, honoring their memory and keeping their essence alive in our hearts? Let us think, for example, of the story of Donna Maria, a lady who dedicated her life to caring for others. After years of hard work as a nurse, she was confronted with a terminal illness diagnosis. Instead of giving in to despair, Donna Maria chose to live her last days with joy and gratitude. She gathered her family, shared stories, recalled special moments, and expressed her love for each of them. When the time came to leave, she did so in peace, with a smile on her face and the certainty that she had fulfilled her mission. Her death was not seen as an end, but as a celebration of life, a testament to the power of love and faith. Similarly, quantum physics, with its revolutionary theories, offers us a new perspective on the nature of reality. The idea that matter is not solid, but rather a field of energy in constant vibration, challenges our traditional perception of the world. The theory of quantum entanglement, which postulates that two particles can be linked instantaneously, regardless of the distance that separates them, suggests that there is a fundamental connection between all things, an invisible web that unites the universe. Furthermore, this connection, this universal energy, may be the key to understanding the continuity of the soul. If consciousness is not restricted to the brain, if it is a form of energy that can exist independently of the physical body, then death would not be the end of consciousness, but rather a transition to a new form of existence. An existence that transcends time and space, that manifests in other dimensions, and that communicates with us through subtle signs and enigmatic messages. Therefore, instead of clinging to the materialistic view of reality, which limits and imprisons us, we can open our minds to the possibility that there is something more, something that we do not yet fully understand. We can allow ourselves to question, explore, experiment, and above all, believe. Believe in our own intuition, in our dreams, in our personal experiences, and in the accounts of those who have already been on the other side of the veil. By doing so, we will be opening the doors to a new world of possibilities, a world where death is not the end, but the beginning of a new adventure. Now let us abandon theoretical speculation and focus on the core of human experience: recognition. What patterns emerge when we allow ourselves to feel without judgment the weight of our own mortality and the possible continuity of consciousness? It is crucial at this point to cultivate honest self-observation, devoid of ideological or dogmatic filters. What beliefs, fears, and hopes shape our view of death? Consider, for example, the impact of our interpersonal relationships. The connections we create throughout life, the bonds of love, friendship, and family, are like threads of light that weave a complex and vibrant tapestry. When one of these threads breaks with the death of a loved one, we feel a deep void, a piercing pain that seems to consume us from within. However, this pain can also be an opportunity for growth, an invitation to deepen our understanding of love and loss. In a way, the death of someone close to us confronts us with our own mortality. It reminds us that time is finite, that life is ephemeral, and that we must cherish each moment as if it were our last. Paradoxically, this awareness of finitude can impel us to live more fully and authentically, to pursue our dreams, to express our feelings, and to value the relationships that really matter. However, it is important to recognize that grief is an individual and multifaceted process. There is no right or wrong way to deal with loss. Each person has their own time, their own way of processing pain and finding healing. Some people find solace in religion, spirituality, or philosophy. Others take refuge in art, music, or nature. And there are those who need psychological or therapeutic support to overcome the trauma of loss. In addition, it is essential to be attentive to the signs that our body and mind send us during the grieving process. Insomnia, fatigue, loss of appetite, irritability, anxiety, and depression are common symptoms, but they should not be ignored. It is essential to seek professional help if these symptoms persist or intensify, as they may indicate the need for treatment. Moreover, reflection on death can lead us to question our beliefs about life and the universe. We may wonder what the meaning of existence is, what our purpose on earth is, and what our legacy is. These questions do not have easy answers, but the search for them can lead us to a path of self-knowledge and personal transformation. By confronting our own mortality, we can discover our inner strength, our resilience, and our ability to love and forgive. After all, death is not the end, but an integral part of the cycle of life. And by accepting this reality, we can live more fully, consciously, and meaningfully. After intrinsic reflection on our fears and hopes in the face of mortality, it becomes essential to develop practical tools to navigate the sometimes turbulent waters of existence. That being said, how can we, in a tangible way, transform existential anxiety into a driving force for a richer and more meaningful life? One notable approach lies in the practice of mindfulness. Unlike mere superficial meditation, mindfulness invites us to immerse ourselves in the present, to embrace each moment with curiosity and acceptance, without judgment. By cultivating this conscious presence, we gradually diminish the power that the fear of the future, including the fear of death, exerts on us. Imagine, for example, Mrs. Benedita, a former teacher who, after retirement, felt consumed by melancholy and the fear of loneliness. By starting the regular practice of mindfulness, Benedita began to notice the beauty in the small details of everyday life. The singing of birds at dawn, the taste of fresh coffee, the warmth of the sun on her skin. This new perception helped her to reframe her routine, to find joy in simple things, and to strengthen ties with her neighbors and friends. Another valuable tool is acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. Instead of fighting against negative thoughts and feelings, ACT teaches us to accept them as an inherent part of the human experience. The goal is not to eliminate pain, but to learn to live with it in a healthy and constructive way. Imagine now the case of João, a young man who lost his father in a car accident. Consumed by guilt and anger, João isolated himself from the world and lost interest in everything that once gave him pleasure. Through ACT therapy, João learned to accept his pain, to recognize his values, and to commit to actions that would bring him closer to a more meaningful life. Gradually, he reconnected with friends, played sports, and pursued his dreams. In addition, therapeutic writing can be a powerful ally on the journey of self-knowledge and healing. By expressing our thoughts and feelings in words, we release repressed emotions, organize our ideas, and gain clarity about our experiences. Consider, for example, the story of Luisa, a writer who, after a painful divorce, felt lost and aimless. By starting to write a diary, Luisa discovered a safe space to express her pain, her anger, and her sadness. Through writing, she was able to understand her emotions, reframe her past, and build a more promising future. In contrast, the cultivation of gratitude can transform our perspective on life. By focusing on what we have instead of what we lack, we nurture a feeling of contentment and appreciation that helps us to cope with challenges and overcome difficulties. Think, for example, of Carlos, a businessman who, after losing his job, felt desperate and hopeless. By starting to practice gratitude, Carlos began to value the little things in life: his health, his family, his friends. This new attitude helped him to stay motivated, to seek new opportunities, and to rebuild his career. In short, the key to transforming existential anxiety into a driving force lies in the combination of self-knowledge, acceptance, action, and gratitude. By cultivating these qualities, we gradually diminish the power that the fear of death exerts on us and open ourselves to a fuller, more meaningful, and happier life. Contemplating the tapestry we have been weaving so far, we realize that each thread, each color, each knot contributes to an image that transcends the mere sum of its parts. It is not about listing the constituent elements of this work, but about feeling the resonance that emerges from its totality, a resonance that echoes in our hearts, awakening profound questions and opening doors to new understandings. Like a river that widens as it receives diverse tributaries, our exploratory journey has been enriched with multifaceted perspectives. The current of thought has led us along winding paths, revealing unexpected landscapes and challenging our pre-established conceptions. And as we approach the mouth, we glimpse the vastness of the ocean, a horizon of infinite possibilities that extends beyond our immediate reach. Reflecting on this journey so far, it becomes evident that the search for definitive answers about life and death is in itself a transformative journey. It is not about reaching an endpoint, about unraveling all the mysteries, but about opening ourselves to uncertainty, about cultivating curiosity, and about embracing the complexity of existence. Just as a gardener tends to their plants, watering them with patience and love, we must nurture our own souls, feeding them with meaningful experiences, authentic relationships, and moments of introspection. For it is in the silence of our being that we find inner wisdom, the strength to face challenges, and the serenity to accept the inevitable. Thus, as we prepare for the conclusion of this reflection, I invite you to contemplate your own journey, to recognize your own progress, and to celebrate your own resilience. For in the end, life is a constant dance between light and shadow, between joy and sadness, between hope and fear. And it is in this dance that we find our true essence, our uniqueness, and our purpose. As we approach the final measure, may the melody that resonates within you inspire you to move forward with courage, compassion, and faith. May the flame of curiosity continue to burn in your heart, guiding you toward a future that is more full, meaningful, and connected with the universe. For as the poet once said, to sail is necessary, to live is not necessary. And it is in this imprecision, in this constant adventure, that the beauty of existence lies. We have finally reached the edge of this river of reflections, not with the intention of exhausting the theme of the transition we call death, but with the hope of having sown a grain of fertile curiosity within you. A seed that, with time and the nourishment of experience, may germinate into a leafy tree of wisdom and serenity. We do not seek to unveil the veil of death, but rather to learn to dance with it, to recognize its inevitable presence in the choreography of life. The true journey, as so often happens, lies not in the arrival, but in the path traveled, in the questions we dare to ask, in the doubts we allow ourselves to feel, in the fears we face with courage. Each step taken towards understanding our own mortality is a step towards a fuller and more authentic life. It is an invitation to value every moment, every smile, every embrace, as if they were the last. Do not be fooled by the promise of easy answers or magical solutions. Life is an unfathomable mystery, a complex puzzle whose pieces do not always fit together. But it is in this imperfection, in this uncertainty, that its beauty lies. It is in the ability to adapt, to learn from mistakes, to reinvent ourselves every day that we find our strength. May the memory of those who have departed not be a burden of sadness, but a source of inspiration. May longing be transformed into energy to live intensely, to love without reservation, to pursue your dreams with passion. For death is not the end of love, but rather its transformation into a new form of existence. An existence that transcends time and space, that manifests itself in our hearts and in our memories. And now, as we say goodbye, remember, the real practice begins now. It begins the moment you decide to live more consciously, more presently, more connected with your essence. It begins the instant you choose hope over fear, compassion over judgment, love over hate. May inner peace accompany you every step of the way. May the light of wisdom illuminate your journey, and may the certainty of your own immortality inspire you to live a life worth remembering. So be it.